You know, London's a really unique city because the center of government is here. It's not like, you know, Washington, D.C. is in New York. And I know you have done some work with 10 Downing and Tech City, is their advisory board. And I was just wondering, what was your biggest surprise and disappointment in working with the government? And, and yes, this is recorded.
It's fine. No, I got into a ton of trouble when I first moved over to London. I was working for GA.
You get into trouble?
Yeah, right. And I said something. I was on like Reuters, and they said, well, what's the most surprising part about being in London? And I was like, the government's involvement. Right. And, you know, GA looked at that, and they were like, you know, like, shut up. Don't, like, say anything, because 10 Downing was actually, like, really supportive of bringing us over. And I actually have, like, a lot of positive things to say about 10 Downing's involvement in the tech scene in Tech City. I mean, we've seen quite a few really valuable players leave the Tech City, like, investment organization recently, which has been worrying. I imagine working for government is quite boring when you're surrounded by a bunch of entrepreneurs doing things at like rapid speed. But anyway, so the sort of first reaction was like, whoa, what are they doing here? Because like we had Bloomberg in New York that was really involved. He would show up to demo days and whatnot, but that made sense because it was like local. And I think to have, you know, David Cameron and more importantly, like Rohan Silva, when he was with David Cameron, like coming out and being in the tech scene, it was just like, wow, like, you know, or when we were at 10 Downing,
like
it was
Obama
like,
showing up somewhere.
Yeah, it was really intense, and like they were just pouring money into this one part of London. And I think like the most disappointing thing about what they're doing is that they're making East London the home of tech in London, and it's like, well, wait a minute, London's a massive city, and like you're missing out on like huge opportunities by not just saying like London's a tech destination. Like, why aren't we also building up different parts of London, like Clerkenwell and West where you live, right? Yeah. Like, there's people over in Notting Hill. Are they not part of the tech scene?
Right. Does that include Cambridge too? I mean, do you want to make it really big?
I mean, stick to London as a city, but yeah, Cambridge has got amazing things coming out of it. But then, you know, then it's like kind of New York to Boston perhaps, and like how those, you know, we wouldn't call that all New York. So I think, yeah, widening, like, and just embracing all of London as this tech city, as opposed to just the Shoreditch and Old Street Roundabout would make more sense.
Okay. And what's it like dealing with the government? What is your capacity with them and Tech City?
I mean, it's really just breakfasts every few months, and then just getting up to speed on who's doing what. And they're quite formal. Bad coffee, good croissants.
Okay. I thought it would have been the opposite, maybe. Yeah. So it's formal there in suits, you go down to Parliament.
Yeah, I mean, it's at 10 Downing, so you get dressed up, and I think like I'll never get over the fact that I'm like in front of this door with the number 10 behind it, like at a meeting. Cool. Yeah, it feels really special. You know, I have friends that have brought their US companies over, and they've been welcomed at 10 Downing, which is like crazy.
Yeah, no, it's being welcomed.
It is strange, and Ben Southworth was our first guest here, and you know he went from, you know, tech startup to, you know, the government, and then now he's back, and he was just talking about the power that they had. He was just like, yeah, we need more 4G coverage here, and they were like, done. It was just like, you know, the king was like, that's done. Yeah, exactly. And he was amazed by the power, also frustrated by some things that he you know, he wanted to get done more with, like curriculums, getting coding in the curriculums and stuff for children. So.
He was just talking yesterday about opening up the Tier 1 visa again for engineers and then judging their quality off of their GitHub profiles, and the government was like, GitHub, you know, like they just need to be educated, and that's totally fair. This isn't their job to read TechCrunch, right? But they should be like appointing someone to educate them on that, and then kind of trust that person and forming policy around that. And I think that they did. I think Rohan Silva was from all intents and purposes on the outside looking in, like really great for that. So yeah, I mean, I don't have too many complaints about what they're doing. I just think it's like really crazy because it was much more organically developed in New York, and it was up to the people to kind of build these infrastructures as opposed to the government.
Yeah.
Do you think like Boris should be getting more involved?
Hell yeah.
That's like the
Boris
local
looks like an
side.
awesome guy. I want him at more tech events.
Yeah. I know he was at the InnoTech Summit for the last 2 years, but yeah, he should be out a little bit more. I think he's such a charismatic guy.
I want him coming in on a zip line to like the Silicon Drunkabout every Friday.
We'll talk to Bryce maybe.
He would do that, I think. Yeah, I like Boris. He could do more.
He's such a character.
Yeah, he's a good character.
Really interesting about the London community, I find, is there's a lot of camaraderie.
Entrepreneurs for government, they're really, hacking the system.
Could be a little like that. And you're talking about like free flow of ideas.